In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use SolidWorks to design a 3D model specifically for our mechanism project. And you are given a booklet with the model. So if you're looking at your booklet, the final finished piece consisted of many individual pieces and then be assembled together. And then the piece today we're going to do it together is this top piece. So let's look at this top piece we're going to create today. Okay, so this is the top piece. As you can see, it's been precisely sketched out for you, and you're going to design this piece based on those dimensions given. All those measurements are in millimeters, as you see here. Okay, and also the radius for those circles as 1.5. Not diameters, I repeat, not diameters but radius, and the distance between each shape are precisely sketched so that we have a finished product that can fit together. Okay, as you can see that the circle, one big one and this one the same, and those little ones also the same, but they've been placed on top of those piece so that eventually we're going to turn that into a three-dimension piece and be able to assemble into a working mechanism. So let's start designing this piece by draw a very simple shape in SolidWorks. So the SolidWorks file looks like this and not anything there yet. So we're going to open up a new file. Okay, and what we're going to do is to design a 3D representation of a single component. So I'm going to choose this one and click OK. All right, now you are seeing the SolidWorks design environment. So we have some tabs here, some tools here, and some menus here, and some other buttons over here. So we're going to get used to those things step by step. So the first thing I want to do is to sketch. We're going to sketch a rectangle shape. And to sketch anything in SolidWorks, you must give an origin and a plane you work on. And so we're going to do sketch, for example. Now you have those three different planes, the front plane, and the top plane, and the right plane. We are going to work on the top plane because that's our piece, is top piece. So I'm going to click on the top plane, and then we can see that X and Y coordinate comes up here. We're going to use this corner rectangle shape tool. Okay, so we're going to draw over here the origin of this one. When you hover over your mouse, there's an orange dot here. It means you have met the origin. So you click and hold and drag, and you are drawing a shape. Okay, so before you proceed, one thing is very, very important is to check the units of your sketch. Well, remember, we have everything measured in millimeters. Well, how do you know that? Yeah, it's here. It says unit system, inch, pound, and seconds. Well, that's not what we use. So we're going to change that to millimeter, grain, and second. Now, once we change that, and our plane is this one, sketch, we just done. Okay, and we need to know exactly how big is our rectangle. To do that, make sure we still got our sketch selected and our sketch one, which is we have done selected, and we're going to use this tool called Smart Dimension. We click on Smart Dimension. What that does is, if you click on this line, okay, and move to its left, it shows you how long this line is. If you click on the number, and it then comes up with a box, allow you to change that. We need 20 millimeters, so you enter 20, hit enter, and we're going to click on this line, and click once more. We're going to change that to 100. So now, if you zoom in, and you can notice underneath here, it says our shape is fully defined. Fully defined means our shape or our sketch has a fixed coordinate, has a fixed or known width and length. So this shape is now fully defined. the SolidWorks knows everything about our shape or about our sketch. Okay, now we finished our sketch fully defined with a rectangle. Next thing I want to do is to add some teeth. Okay, before we do that, I have to teach you one more trick. That is, when you work on SolidWorks, if you want to zoom in certain part, you just hover the mouse over here, and then you just scroll your mouse. That will be the part you zoom in to work on. If you want to work on this part, and you just zoom in here to work on this part. Well, sometimes things can get out of a place, for example like this, and in order for you to bring back the shape to the center of the work surface, you just click zoom to fit this button, and then now everything back to the center. Now I'm going to just zoom in into the left hand side a little bit so we can add those tools. So let's take a look at what kind of teeth we're going to add. All right, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 on each side on our rectangle, and the size of those is 4 millimeters from this edge and 4 millimeters in length, and actually it's 3 millimeters. Now I have to ask you to refer to this one, 3 millimeters, and then this way along this side. So remember that. So we're going to go back over here, and the same thing again. We're going to exit the smart dimension. So tick smart dimension. We can still use the sketch tool. So we've got a sketch and a sketch here. We're going to use the same color rectangle. Now we're going to draw is from this place. So don't worry about where to draw yet. Just draw one. Make sure you start on the 9. That's the important thing. Start with here and draw. And now what we're going to do is to actually using the smart dimension tool. Okay, so we're going to use the smart dimension tool. And we know that from this point, so clicking this point and click this point, and that needs to be 4. So we click once more and type 4. And we also know from this point, so click once, click again on this point, and then move to the left, click again. That is also 4 millimeter. I'm going to click on this one and at this point and move up here, click one more time on the number, and that is 3 millimeter. So now my shape again is fully defined. So we know exactly from here to here and how long that is, and from here to this point how long that is, and from this point to this point how long that is. So now SolidWorks satisfied as this is fully defined. So we can do the same thing to the other tooth. So I'm going to click on this line and drag, hold and drag. Okay, that's great. Next thing I want to do is of course to tick this here and using the smart dimension again. And now I know I first need to define, so click this point, make sure that is 4 millimeters. And I'm also going to click this point and this point and move to the left, click one more time, type 4 millimeters, and but still underdefined. It's one more thing. That thing is I need to click this point. Oops. Let's do escape. Anytime you see something suspicious, either do undo or escape. So I'm going to click, oh, my smart dimension tool is gone, so I'm going to grab that again. I'm going to click this and click this, and that is 3. So I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. Now my shape is fully defined. All right, so you're going to do the same thing with the other side. So we're going to do the same. Now we're going to do zoom to fit and hover my mouse over here. I'm going to zoom in on this side and I'm going to exit smart dimension. I'm going to use this tool again. I'm going to draw the shape. Okay, now I'm going to use the smart dimension, and I know I need here, click here, that to be 4, so I'm going to type 4. I need here to here, also to be 4, and I need here to here, it needs to be 3, which is perfect. 3, okay. Now it says fully defined again, which is what we want. And again, let's still make sure we've got this sketch tool. I'm doing another one, so I'm just drawing anywhere. Okay, so now I need a smart dimension again. I still need to tell SolidWorks that is 4, and most important, smart dimension also needs to define the distance between those two teeth, which is 4. And hit enter, click, and it's done. But I have not defined something else because this is underdefined. That's because I haven't defined the width of my rectangle. Okay, so okay, now my shape is fully defined. Okay, so now that's great, and we got all the teeth over. But we need to do is to actually get rid of this line and get rid of this line, so we can actually end up with teeth. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to exit smart dimension, but still under sketch. Okay, so I'm going to use this tool. It's called trim entities. So I'm going to choose trim to closest. All right, so I'm going to do is click on the lines. I'm going to cut off. Well, remember, those are 2 lines actually together. One is from the big rectangle and one is from this little tooth. So I'm going to click once and click again to get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to click once and click again to get rid of the other line. Now I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom in here and do the same thing. Click once, twice, once, and twice. And my shape still fully defined, which is very, very good. So now we have our basic shape cut out, and we need to check our model. So our model has a circle, actually 2 big circles and 4 small circles. So now let's make sure we can actually sketch this precisely. So that circle has a radius 5 millimeter, and this little one has radius 1.5 millimeter. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to find another drawing tool. It's called circle. Click on this, and we can draw anywhere for now. Okay, so we're going to draw over here. It doesn't really matter, as you know, because we can use our smart dimension to decide how to actually put down what we want. So draw a shape on that rectangle. Now I'm going to use a smart dimension and click on the circle, and I'm going to input 10 because that's diameter. Okay, so now I've got diameter 10, and as you can see, my shape suddenly becomes underdefined. And of course, because I put this circle just really on there with the correct diameter, but we did not know really how far the circle center from the edge, okay, or how far the circle center from this side. So I needed to check on our design again, and it looks like it's in the center, which it should be, and which means is about 10 from the center to the edge. So we're going to do smart dimension, click on the edge, and click once more, and 10, and now my circle is nicely centered along the middle. But we also need to know from here to that edge and how big is that one. Let's go back to check. It looks like from here to this edge, or we can check this one, symmetric, is 30 millimeter. So I'm going to type 30 and hit enter. Okay, so now my shape becomes fully defined. All right, and next thing I want to do is to add those 2 little ones. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I'm just add it on either side, and I'm going to add another one. Okay, now we still don't know really how big we are because everything suddenly becomes undefined, and then we still need to use our smart dimension tool. As I said before, this one has a 3 millimeter diameter, so is this one, and the distance between this and that is 11.5 here, and here. Also 11.5. And now, what else do you think I need in order for me to define my two circles? Well, you get it because we have not told how far from this to this edge. So we needed to also say 10, still underdefined because we need to do the same with this one. All right, so we're going to 10. Now my shape becomes fully defined. All right, so the next thing you need to do is going to do the same for this side, and which I'm not going to show you in this video tutorial. I'm going to jump ahead and show you the result. Okay. So now I'm going to just go through what we have done. So we have added, or I have added another 3 circles, and based on our design, so we have shape end up like this, which is a fully designed top piece. Okay, as you can see, my shape still fully defined, and because I did the same basically as this side, except I did on the right hand side. Okay, so that one tip I can give you is when you use Smart Dimension, make sure the orange dot light up, and then click on it, and then you move your cursor over and make sure the line also light up in orange color in mine, and then you click, then you drag, not drag, just move your cursor over and click again to input the correct dimension or number. Okay, now next exciting thing is turn this into a 3D model. All right, so let's check this. We're done, and let's go click on features. And that is where we turn our lovely sketch into 3D model. So we're going to use this features called extrude, boss, and base. Now you can see my shape already turned into a lovely 3 dimension. And by default, there should be something else, but since I used it before, it remembers the depth of my 3D model is 3 millimeters. So I'm just going to accept the 3 millimeter one. Now you can see my shape is beautifully cut out. I'm going to have a front view, top view. As you can see, that's like that. And I also going to show you how to spin the model around so you can have a look around. So you can hold down your command key and click and spin, or not spin actually, just to glide your mouse and turning this way and that to be able to see we have this lovely shape with the appropriate circles being cut through. Okay, which is really, really nice to see. All right, so that concludes our tutorial for our top piece.